Hello. I was trying to do something different, trying to fucking slide on in like Collinsworth, but it didn't end up working. Hate to see it. What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing today? How's everyone doing today? Today's stream is brought to you guys by BetMGM. They're at the top of the screen. We'll be talking about them a little bit later, and I'm very pumped up. I'm excited to answer as many questions as possible. So please make sure that you leave any questions in the chat right now so we can get on into things. And make sure you hit the thumbs up on the way in. It's pretty easy to do. It takes like half a second. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's ride. The fact that there's 42 you guys in here and there's not a single question in the chat is the craziest thing I've ever seen. The craziest thing I've ever seen. Do 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 do. Oh wait, what the fuck? There is a million questions in chat. Let me refresh this real quick. 1 second. It's gonna take me out the screen, but I have to reload. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I still don't see chat, so that's just great. That's just the best. All right, I'm just gonna go on YouTube and find it. Um, Sorry about that. All right, I'm going on to YouTube to answer all the questions now. I apologize. I don't know why it's like this. Do 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 do. All right. I will answer all you guys' questions. I do apologize. I don't know. I still don't understand why the questions are not on the screen, but I'm gonna fix it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. All right. I gotta pull up both streams now and answer questions. Make sure you guys hit that like button, by the way. Do, 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 do. All right. 46 people watching right now. Shout out to you guys. Do, 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 do. All right. Alrighty. Thank you guys for the super chats again. Sorry, I couldn't fucking see anything, but now I can. I cannot see for a little bit, but now I can. Alrighty. So scrolling back up to the top. All right. Here we go. Best time of the week, baby. I agree, Jerry. It is the best time of the week, except for Thursday night football has been absolutely dog shit. This Nathan with the super chat says, "Do I start Eno or Kenyon Drake?" I would probably start Eno Benjamin tonight without James Conner. Oh, and now the chat just loads. Love to see that. Now I can actually see it. Okay. That was crazy. So the chat wasn't working. So I pinged Chris, super producer Chris, to figure out why this isn't happening. He joins the stream, leaves, and now the whole chat pops up. So thank you. Shout out to him. Do I start Eno or Kenyon Drake? I would start Eno Benjamin. The reason behind that is because I think Kenyon Drake could have a big game, but J.K. Dobbins' health is kind of up in the air right now. I do think that Eno Benjamin's a pretty safe play tonight. I don't think he's necessarily going to smash in this matchup because this game's a little bit difficult, but I also think he has good enough of a performance to where he's start worthy. So I'm going to go with Eno Benjamin because he's less risky than Kenyon Drake. We have to wait all the way until Sunday to know about J.K. Dobbins, and Eno plays tonight, so I'm just going to roll with Eno. If they were both playing on Sunday, I'd have a pretty similar projection for both of them. Connor, thank you for the super sticker. I greatly appreciate it. Please make sure that you ask a question in the chat, which you did. Nick, Gasicki or Tanyan? All right, so while Gasicki did have a pretty solid game last week, I'm going to be honest with you. I find it very hard to believe that he is going to continue to put up those kind of numbers or those kind of numbers. Now, again, I don't think that he's necessarily a bad player. The Dolphins are looking to trade him right now, and I do not necessarily know if Gesicki's role is really gonna stay like that, right? I feel like they're not gonna really like he's really touchdown or bust dependent. Like he's gonna see like 2 targets a game, where Tanyan, like we saw last week, scored like 1,000,000 points because he's getting 1,000 targets. So I think I would rather, based upon what we've seen recently, I think I want to lean with Robert Tunyon, and I think I want to do that pretty heavily. Next question here. Um, Jeffrey, thank you for the super chat. Robert Woods or Rashad Bateman if he plays? My answer would be Rashad Bateman if he plays because of the big play upside that Bateman offers. Bateman's not going to see as many targets potentially as Robert Woods, but all Bateman needs is like 4 catches that he could take for 100 yards and a score. Now, based upon what I've seen, I don't think Bateman's going to end up playing. So you're probably going to be stuck with Robert Woods, who isn't necessarily a bad play, but he's not a guy that, in my opinion, is like the most ideal start of the week. John, thank you for the super chat. Start JT or Mixon week 7. So Jonathan Taylor has been a bit of a disaster this year, right? We drafted him basically the first overall pick in a majority of leagues, and he hasn't lived up to the hype. Now, he hasn't been awful, right? There's been games where he's playing pretty decent, but he has not been the guy that we all thought he was going to be. So, am I completely off of Jonathan Taylor at this point? No, I'm not off of Jonathan Taylor. I still think Jonathan Taylor could bounce back and have an excellent season. But am I 100% trying to tell you guys to invest in Jonathan Taylor? No, I think I would rather go with Mixon in this game. Jonathan Taylor does somewhat concern me. We know the role Joe Mixon has. He's going to keep getting force fed the ball. Again, I do think Jonathan Taylor's a fine player, but at this point, based upon what we've seen through the first couple weeks of the season, I think you'd rather rely on Mixon. And I think that's a great problem to have where you don't have to necessarily play Jonathan Taylor. But I will tell you, a majority of people who have Jonathan Taylor probably have to start him on Sunday. So thank you for the super chat, Frank, as well. And then we'll get to Pixo. I just skipped over you, but it is what it is. I'll get to you in like 2 seconds. Dak or Herbert? Okay, so Herbert's coming off of a pretty poor performance last week. Everyone watched that game on prime time up against the Denver Broncos. They struggled mightily, and things did not look very good at all. Herbert didn't even throw a fucking touchdown. He's played in 37 NFL games that he started. He's thrown a touchdown in 36 of 37 games. The one game he doesn't throw a touchdown was on prime time. So my thought process on this is kind of that I think Dak's going to come back and have a pretty decent game, but I think the Chargers game that they have this week up against the Seahawks defense has the upside to potentially shoot out, to potentially be a really high scoring game. Again, I think Dak's going to be a reliable starter weekly going forward, but this week when he returns, I think I'd rather just lean with Herbert, the proven commodity we've seen this year, and I think he bounces back after a bad performance. But let's be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you guys. The Broncos defense is one of the best defenses in the NFL. So that could also be why Herbert struggled. Pixo, thank you for the super chat as well. I have Swift, Jeff Wilson, and Eno Benjamin. I'm obviously starting Swift. Do I start Eno or Jeff Wilson? Full PPR. I think I'm going to lean with Jeff Wilson. Again, I think Eno Benjamin's a pretty average start tonight. I don't really see him smashing and winning you your week, but I also don't necessarily see Eno Benjamin going out there and just shitting the bed big time in prime time and having an awful game. Pretty similar to what he did last week, right? Last week, he has a decent game. I was kind of pumping him up, right? I thought he was going to have a great game, but he has a decent game and he plays okay. So that's kind of just what I see out of him tonight. I think the upside of Jeff Wilson is significantly higher. The game up against the Kansas City Chiefs could be a truly high scoring back and forth affair. So I think I'm going to go ahead and lean with Jeff Wilson Jr. Joey, thank you for the super chat. Trade Kittle/Woods for ETN and Ayuk. At this point, I think I would do that. I think ETN is trending to become a incredibly positive player for your fantasy football lineup. Look, I like James Robinson. I think James Robinson's an excellent player, but the team continues to show that they want to give the ball more and more to Travis Etienne. And it's not like that is going to magically change unless Etienne gets hurt, knock on wood. We don't root for injuries. So based upon what we know right now, Etienne's stock is trending up. Now, Kittle just had his best game of the year. So did Ayuk. So that kind of cancels out. And then Woods is kind of just meh. So I think I do that trade. I'd rather have ETN and Ayuk. Thank you for the super chat. The OJ. How are you doing, OJ? P. Ryan, White, or either Colts running back, PPR, yuck. So, in my opinion, with this question, Jonathan Taylor's definitely going to play. And I know when you say either of the Colts running backs, you're not talking about Jonathan Taylor. So, we're going to look away from them. I think when Jonathan Taylor is back, he is clearly the workhorse guy there. Is it possible that Deontay Johnson, or whatever the fuck that guy's name was, Deion Jackson, ends up falling into the end zone or something, getting a couple of targets? Yeah, that's obviously possible, right? It's not like Jonathan Taylor is going to see every touch on the field, right? That is virtually impossible. But at the end of the day, I do think that the most upside play on here is Rachaad White. Now, Uncle Lenny Fournette is obviously the clear lead back on this team, but Rachaad White is still going to be seeing a decent amount of work. And he could see a crazy amount of work if Leonard Fournette got hurt. So I think he's the most upside play. And we saw that upside game up against the Chiefs. You could always see that potentially happening again. Thank you for the super chat, Jake Ciampa. Thank you very much. Sutton, Lazard, DJ Moore start too. Now, to me, there's one guy here that is definitely a start. And then after that, we kind of have to break this down. So for me, Allen Lazard is a must start wide receiver weekly at this point. The guy has been scoring a ridiculous amount of touchdowns. He's been incredibly reliable over the last couple of weeks. And despite the Green Bay Packers getting dicked down by the Green Bay Packers, or by the Packers, that's what team he's on, by the New York Jets, we still saw Lazard have a great game. So I think Lazard is definitely an insta lock in your lineup. And then you kind of have to determine, are you trying to be safe or are you trying to be risky, right? The safe options, you roll him out there. He's going to get like 8 to 14 points. You're going to be happy, but you're not really going to be riding all the way to the bank from that performance. Again, I'm more of a risky player. Sutton is big risk. Sutton has huge risk. You want to know why? Because Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited, has played like complete and utter shit. But at the end of the day, I am hunting for upside. So we are going to go with Courtland Sutton over Allen Lazard. Or no, we're going to go with Allen Lazard and Courtland Sutton over Eno Benjamin and DJ Moore. I've just kind of lost hope on DJ Moore, if I'm being honest with you. Like, maybe has a big game this week. I just don't really see it. Once again, Chris Olave, the Cardinals have given up more than 90 yards to wide receiver 6 only times the past 23 games. He may have the deepest depth of target in the league, but he is 11th in catch rate and 42nd red zone targets. Winston out again. He will get a lot of targets with the other wide receiver injuries, so he's still a flex low-end wide receiver too. I agree with that. I definitely like Chris Olave in this game. He is a decent red zone target. I don't necessarily agree. Well, obviously, you're just stating legitimate statistics, right? 42nd red zone targets, but he's also missed games. So I'm not completely sold on the fact that he's not some red zone weapon. I think Olave has a decent game. He's not a guy that I'm jamming into the lineup, right? I'm not aggressively telling you guys you have to start Chris Olave, but I do think he could have a pretty big game if I'm being honest with you. Roderick, thank you for the super chat. Judy, Dobbs, or Gallup? Great question here. So the question for me is between Judy and Dobbs. I think Gallup could potentially have a big game with the return of Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott helps out the upside of Michael Gallup a ton. I think it's a lot easier to talk yourself into Michael Gallup when Dak Prescott is back. Now, the question is, do I really trust Dak in his first game back to throw to his second or third best receiver? The answer is no. So I'm not going to go with Gallup. It's between Dobbs and Judy. Now, Dobbs has had a couple of down games in a row. Judy's been kind of just down all year, right? Judy's been down on his luck because really Sutton's been the guy eating, and this whole Broncos offense is just putrid because of the guy who's at the helm in quarterback, Russell Wilson. So my answer here, I'm going to keep it very simple. I would play Jerry Judy. That's who I would go with. He saw a little bit more targets last week, but my heart also wants me to play Dobbs because I think he's a higher upside player and could smash up against the Commanders. So while I think I have Judy ranked in my rankings ahead of Dobbs, I think for this question, I'm going to have to go with Dobbs because I just think he has significantly more upside up against the Commanders defense. And I don't even think that is relatively close of a question. I mean, it is close, obviously, but between Gallup and all these guys, I think Gallup's clearly last, and then it's kind of close between Dobbs and Judy. But I'm gonna go with Dobbs because of the matchup. I just think his matchup's incredible. Commanders' defense is awful. I have Chase, Tyreek, and Godwin. Running backs are Brees, Melvin, and Hunt. We're at the point in one of my leagues where everyone is holding tight on RB1s. Which handcuffs would you target moving forward? Great question. So you're definitely right on that. I get a lot of questions about people trying to make trades, and a lot of people are telling me that their league mates are holding tight. Like it is incredibly hard at this point in the season with how many injuries we have seen. What's up, Brian? Players suffer, that people are just saying fuck it. Like I understand that maybe this isn't the most optimal thing, but I'm just going to go ahead and hold my running back because even if I'm getting some solid trade value, like unless I'm getting this monster receiver and I feel like I'm getting a huge up on you, then I'm just not going to be trading my running backs. And that's what I've seen has been a big occurrence in the comment section, across Twitter, basically everywhere that I've looked. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up a list of some running back handcuffs that I think you guys should be targeting. Now, the biggest one, just off the top of my head, without actually pulling up any list because the list is still pulling up, my computer's a little slow at times, is Donta Foreman of the Carolina Panthers. Now, there is still a chance that Christian McCaffrey gets traded. There's a lot of reports that McCaffrey may get traded very, very soon, that the Panthers want to get rid of this guy. Now, it makes sense. The Panthers are a disaster. They want to get as much as possible for McCaffrey before he gets hurt. So I will tell you, one handcuff I'm looking to target is Deonta Foreman. If he's not available, then I want to get Chuba Hubbard. Another handcuff right now that is definitely taken in your league, Isaac, sadly, is Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake appears to be incredibly valuable for your fantasy team, especially if J.K. Dobbins misses time, but he probably is not available in your league. So we're just going to gloss over him and go to kind of the guys that I feel like are underowned. So, some other guys that I would be looking to target. I genuinely think while Sony Michel is the best running back on earth, if you're looking to handcuff Austin Eckler, I think Sony Michel would be the main guy in that scenario. If Jerick McKinnon is available or Isaiah Pacheco, those are guys you also need to have rostered if you're looking for a handcuff. And then the final guy I kind of want to talk about here in terms of handcuffs would be DJ Dallas. The Seattle Seahawks are down astronomical at the running back position. And if something was to happen to Kenneth Walker, I think that we could legitimately see DJ Dallas see a decent amount of carries. Then obviously if like Elijah Mitchell's available or something like that, they are who I would want to pick up. I hope that was helpful for you. I tried to talk through a couple of handcuff running backs that I find to be pretty valuable. So I hope that helps you out. Next up, we move to Mr. Joe. And Isaac, by the way, your running backs aren't that bad. Melvin Gordon just worries me because I don't think anyone is sure on how Melvin Gordon is going to do this week. Like, Melvin Gordon might be the lead back. This might be a running back by committee. Like, I don't care what Hackett says. Like, I don't think you should believe anything that dumb bastard says. Wandale Robinson, Tyquan Thornton, Petty Campbell, or Nico Collins. So, Paris Campbell, look, he had one good week. I'm not buying into that. So, he's out of the equation. Nico Collins has looked legitimately better than Brandon Cooks. Maybe the age cliff has hit Brandon Cooks, or maybe just the fact that Davis Moloney Mills has not looked very good. Tyquan Thornton or Wandale Robinson would be the pick for me. I think I'm going to go with Tyquan Thornton. I think overall he's a more talented player than Wandale Robinson. And I think that offense might lay the pipe to the ass of the Chicago Bears. So I'm going to go with Thornton. Juan, thank you for the super chat. Sup, Nick? How you doing, my man? Should I keep in Rondell or swap him out for Dobbs or Bateman if he plays? Already locked in Olave for tonight. Now, Bateman's health is really up in the air. So if you don't play Rondale, then you might be in a situation where you're stuck with Dobbs. Now, again, I don't think Dobbs is a bad start, but I do think Rondale Moore is going to see a decent amount of targets tonight with DeAndre Hopkins returning. Even so, Rondale Moore, when he came off of being injured, he was a big target for this team. I think we continue to see a lot of usage out of Rondale. Now, he's not necessarily a player that's this big body in the red zone or anything like that, so I wouldn't expect him to score a touchdown. But would I be surprised if he saw 8, 9, 10 targets in this game? Nope. No, I wouldn't. And especially since That Saints, the whole team is shattered. They're all injured. I think we could see a big game out of Mr. Rondale Moore, so I'm going to go with him. I would play him over Dobbs and Bateman. Thank you, Mr. Penis. Very funny. Olave or Lazard and Everett or Moreau, no Waller. Great question. I like both Lazard and Olave a bunch. So let me pull up my rankings. Because if I'm being honest with you, that is a very tough question. That is an extremely tough question. Because I think both of them have the upside to rank inside of the top 12 at the wide receiver position this week. So let's pull this up real quick. Getting a bunch of fucking notifications that I have players in my lineup on a bye week. I know. I know. I just haven't checked my lineup. So let's look at this real quick. Um, all right. So I have Olave ranked as wide receiver 18, and I have Lazard wide receiver 21. Now, I did make my rankings with tiers now going forward. I had a tier rank list go out this morning for receivers. I think that's actually the best way to look at things because then you have a better idea on understanding like if there's a gap because saying running or wide receiver 19 to 21 that doesn't appear to be a big gap, but in my opinion there is a little bit of a gap between the two. So I'm going to go with Olave tonight and then Everett or Moreau. I know Waller's not going to play, but I don't want to chance it with Moreau. We've done this in the past. We do this dance where Waller misses, we play Moreau, and then Moreau shits the bed. So we're just going to go ahead and go with Olave and Gerald Everett. I think that's pretty easy for me. Nick Jackson, thank you for the super chat. What's up, Nick? How you doing, man? Godwin or Hopkins this week? And then defense, Cowboys or Broncos? Thanks, no problem. So looking at my rankings this week, I've Godwin ranked as wide receiver 14 and Hopkins ranked as my wide receiver 8. And they're in two different tiers. Hop is in wide receiver or tier 2, and then Godwin is in tier number 3. Now, Godwin has not lived up to any hype that I've given him at all this season. Now, I do know he still has that dog inside of him. He is still one of the best player or one of the better wide receivers in the NFL. I agree with that. I think Hopkins is one of the better receivers in the NFL. Now, this is a little bit of a different situation for Hopkins because Hopkins is coming off of a suspension. He's not coming off of an injury, so he is going to be 100% healthy. Now, maybe he's worse because he's not off the fucking PEDs, but he's definitely 100% healthy. So I'm going to go with DeAndre Hopkins. I pray that this is not an incredibly low scoring game like every other fucking primetime game we've seen this year. So I'm going to go with DeAndre Hopkins. That is a tough question to answer, though. I will add those guys are both very good in my opinion. And then Cowboys or the Broncos. The Cowboys get the Lions. The Broncos will play up against the New York Jumbo Jets. I'm going with the Broncos. I think they have a better defense than the Cowboys, and the Cowboys matchup could be a little bit more high scoring. I think the Denver game might end up being an absolute snooze fest. I want to go Broncos and DeAndre Hopkins. Smooth criminal. Dun 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 dun. Trade Mahomes and Mixon for Josh Allen and Walker. PPR. I am not doing that. Now, I do know that Josh Allen right now is better than Mahomes, but in my opinion, Mixon is better than Walker. And I think Mixon's upside is also higher than Walker. I think we've seen the worst out of Mixon, and I think Mixon can get better, while at the same time, Mixon, even playing bad, hasn't really been all that bad. So I think I'm going to go ahead and lean with Patrick Mahomes and Mixon over Allen and Walker. It is close, so I'm not saying that's like an absurd trade to accept if you wanted to accept it, but I think I'd rather have Mahomes and Mixon. Mahomes also has looked really good this year. I'm not really worried at all about him. So I'm going to go Mahomes and Mixon over Josh Allen and Walker. It's close, but I'd rather have Mahomes and Mixon. Isaac says, I picked up Zamir. I don't think Josh Jacobs will stay healthy or productive long time. Gaskins, he's the best back and most healthy long term. And Pacheco, Clyde is injury prone and touchdown dependent. I agree with you on Zamir. I think Zamir White is an incredibly talented backup. I drafted him a lot on best ball sites and in like redraft leagues. I drafted Zamir because I thought this was going to be a running back by committee. It's not. Josh Jacobs has clearly taken over, but if Josh Jacobs gets hurt, then Zamir White is pretty clearly the heir. No problem with criminal. He's pretty easily the heir to the throne, the backup running back in Oakland, or not Oakland, Las Vegas to own. So I like that with Zamir. I like Gaskin. I actually think he's a pretty good player. I think you're going to need multiple injuries for that to come to fruition. But again, the fucking NFL, it's not like these guys are wrapped in bubble wrap. Injuries happen all the time. And then Pacheco, Clyde is injury prone. Injury prone. I like Pacheco a lot as well. I think Pacheco Could be in for good games even when Clyde Edwards-Helaire is healthy, but obviously, you're any of these guys, you're kind of an injury away from them being good. But I still like your pickups you made there. My favorite is Pacheco, though. I think Pacheco is a talented player. He runs just very aggressively. I don't know if you've watched a lot of Pacheco, but if you just watch his tape, this guy runs with pure fucking aggression. He's running at the offensive line like the offensive line fucking stole his job or something. I don't know. He just runs with this crazy aggression. It is very impressive to see. I like what I see out of Mr. Pacheco. Skylar, thank you for the super chat. Says PPR got more at my flex. Olave wide receiver 2 and Eno RB2. Worth having this many Thursday night football players, so I switch more for running back options. So you got Harris, ETN, Hunt, AJ Dillon. Um, I think it's fine rolling out multiple guys on Thursday night football. Now, obviously, some people are going to be fucking pissed off because, right, Thursday night football this year has been a disaster. The Thursday night football players have not lived up to the hype at all. Thursday night football has basically sucked. I don't remember a single Thursday night football game where I was sitting there and was like, yeah, yeah, I'm so glad I started blank, right? I'm not feeling that. But I do genuinely think that this week, your best option here is going to be, um, let's see, I would just play Rondell Moore. I'm playing your best players. I think ETN is going to have a decent game, but I'm just going to go ahead and roll with your best players. So I think Harris is pretty decent as well. I think I would actually, if Harrisburg is Harris, I think I'd rather just put Harris in over Eno. I put Harris or ETN over Eno. I have them both ranked ahead of Eno. So which pick your poison there. I prefer Harris slightly above ETN. So I would go with Harris over Eno and then play Olave and Moore. So you're going to go with Olave as your wide receiver 2. Your flex is going to be Moore. And then your RB2 instead of Eno is going to be Harris. And if it's not Harris, if Harrisburg is not Harris, then just play ETN because I like ETN a bunch as well. That's kind of just my breakdown on that. Eno or Sutton at the flex. Sutton. Who is better, Chuba Hubbard or Foreman? They're both on my waivers. I would pick up Foreman, I think. Yeah, he was kind of bummy last year for a top 5 wide receiver at the draft. D-Hop, yeah. Gotcha, guys. I'm honestly not that excited about D-Hop's return. I'm biased, though. I had him last year. Yeah, he wasn't great last year, but he did get hurt, so I'm not really I'm not going to blame him too much. Look, should I trade T. Higgins for Najee and AJ Dillon? Well, it really depends, Kyle, how down bad you are at running back. Because I think you can get more for T. Higgins than Najee and Dillon. Like, I'd rather just trade T. Higgins straight up for a better running back. That's kind of my lean on that. Um, Bad Sport, thank you for the super chat. ETN, B-Rob, or Hunt. I'm going to go with ETN. ETN continues to get more and more work as the weeks go on. ETN looks pretty good. Like, he passes the eye test. Early on in the season, he did not pass the eye test. Now, they were trying to work him in. He wasn't passing the eye test. He looks fucking awful. I didn't trust him one bit. So I'm glad now with how we're looking. I feel like I could trust him a little bit more. I think that ETN is a good player. So I'm going to go ahead and roll with ETN over Bri Robinson and Hunt. I think Hunt could also be in for a decent game, but I would rather go ahead and go with Travis Etienne. I think Etienne is in for a pretty solid performance. Before we get on into the next question here, I'd like to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's stream, BetMGM. They have been on your screen this whole entire time. So BetMGM has an exclusive offer for us right now, linked down below in the video description. And if you are brand new to BetMGM, all you have to do is bet $10 on any pregame NHL money line, and you'll win $200 if any team scores a goal tonight. And in the NHL, games can't end 0-0. Someone has to score. So if there's a single goal in the NHL tonight, which there's a lock to be, there's guaranteed to be a goal, then you are going to win. And all you have to do is bet $10 on any pregame money line. Now, you have to be a first-time depositor with BetMGM, but if you are new and you want free money, make sure you guys do check that out. It will be $200 in free bets, but you don't have to use those bets on NHL. You can bet on the NBA, the NFL. Free money from sportsbooks is hard to come from or hard to kind of find. So make sure you guys do go ahead and take advantage of it. And again, the offer isn't going to last all year. It's only going to last for a couple of weeks. So make sure you guys do check that out again. Just click the link in the video description. You got to be new. Bet $10 on any pregame NHL money line, and you receive $200 if any team scores a goal tonight, which again is guaranteed to happen. So make sure you guys do check that out. Penis, B Rob, Alec Pierce, or Drake. Pretty easy for me here. So what you're going to do is play Alec Pierce and think about this in two different ways. So I'm going to give you two answers to this question. Eno's out, B Rob's out. Alec Pierce has been getting a lot more targets as of recently. The sex bots have appeared to the stream. I banned them though. Don't worry about that. They're out of here. But Alec Pierce has been getting more targeted. Matt Ryan has looked better. Now, I'm not saying Matt Ryan's some elite quarterback, but he's looked better. So what I'm going to do is buy in to Alec Pierce. So I like Alec Pierce. Now, if you want to be a little bit more risky, you wait until Sunday. You see if Dobbins is playing or not. If Dobbins does not play, I am throwing in Kenyon Drake and jamming him in over Alec Pierce. So you got to wait until Sunday. So my answer is Drake, but you have to wait until Sunday because if Dobbins plays, then you don't want to be playing Kenyon Drake and you want to play Alec Pierce. Ertz or Kittle, I'm going Ertz. Really thinking about starting Kenneth Walker over Chubb this week. I disagree. I disagree. The Chargers' run defense is not good at all. Pick two, please. Boyd, Pierce, and Bateman. Boyd and Pierce for me, pretty easy. And then Murray or Garoppolo. Go with Murray. Sup, Nick? How you doing? Looking beautiful as always. Godwin and Henderson for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Which side do you prefer? I'd rather have Amon-Ra St. Brown with the team you got. Tua will not be in high demand because of the concussions. Will be hard to get high trade value out of him. I don't think that, Captain Spock. I really don't. I think Tua has trade value. Maybe I'm just wrong, but it seems like all this worry about the concussions, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like Tua said he saw a doctor, and the doctor said that CTE is less likely to occur to quarterbacks because they take less hits and all this stuff. So like I listen to what Tua said. I'm gonna believe what he says. So I don't know. But what do I know, right? Again, I'm not a fucking doctor. So flex one, Mostert, McLaurin, Jacoby Myers, or Brian Robinson. I would go ahead and probably flex Jacoby Myers in that situation. Half PPR, Everett or Hill. I'm playing Taysom Hill tonight. It's a YOLO situation. Taysom Hill might completely fuck me over. And I've accepted that. So I think you guys need to accept that too. Taysom Hill is either going to dominate or fuck you over, and there is more than likely zero in between, and you need to be okay with that. You need to understand that the upside is there, the downside's pretty low. But yeah, that's just how I view things. There is definitely a chance that he has a good game, but I do kind of worry that the downside's pretty low. Sit one, Wilson, London, Scary Terry. I'm sitting Rondale Moore or Ayuk, or Gallup. I'd go Rondale Moore. ASB or AJ Brown rest of the season. I'd go with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Pick two wide receivers: Duvernay, Woods, Moore, Wandale. I'd go Duvernay and DJ Moore. Think I missed the answer. 10 teams. Sit one. I'm going to sit Godwin. Pick two in PPR: Damian Pierce, Walker, Olave. I'm going with the first two. Gino or Carr. Carr. Who should I start? Flex Christian Kirk, Jeff Wilson, Deontay Johnson, or Curtis Samuel. I'm flexing Christian Kirk. Drop pits for Elijah Moore. Hoping he gets traded. No, don't do that. Hey man, what's up? What's up, my man? Pick two, please. ETN, Wilson, Kirk. I'm going Kirk and Wilson. Murray or Prescott? Murray. Thanks. No problem. Wide receivers. Think of packaging Thomas and Kirk for a better wide receiver. Okay, so package Thomas and Kirk for Jalen Waddle. Benjamin or Olave. Olave, you're the best, bro. Wish everyone said it like it is. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit the like button on today's stream. It really helps me out a bunch. And then make sure that afterwards you leave a nice comment on the stream because it helps boost the channel. Make sure that people know that we are having a wonderful time streaming all the time. Make sure you guys check the stream out, baby. I really appreciate you guys always joining these streams. It means the world to me. We always have a very fun time talking on here. So that's just how I see things. Opinion on Tua Tagovailoa. He's my favorite quarterback in the league. Obviously, 'cause he's on the Dolphins. That's my favorite team. I think the Steelers defense is going to play better than they have in the past, but I think Tua carves them up. That's the hope. I have Tua ranked inside the top 12. I'm not going to tell you that he's a guy that I'm must starting this week, but I do think he's a good play. So I'm starting him in a lot of situations. I think I'm right now ranked around quarterback 10. Quarterback rankings will be out on Saturday. Make sure you guys check that out when it gets released. Alrighty, next question here. Gotta start putting in my fantasy football lineups in my league. Stu Money, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate that one. There needs to be like some type of a way that I could play something of myself during these streams that you guys can listen to so I can go take a piss during these streams. But that's not possible. So I'm just gonna chill here for another 45 minutes. Jeff Wilson, Jacoby Myers, James Robinson, or Kenyon Drake at the flex. I'm going to go with Jacoby Myers. I understand Jacoby Myers had a down game last week. Bailey Zappi does kind of throw the ball around the yard a decent amount. Like he doesn't just lock on into one guy. But we know the upside Jacoby Myers has. This Bears defense is no good. The Bears might get absolutely waffle stomped in this matchup. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Jacoby Myers. I just think he's the better start. I am close between Myers, Wilson, and Drake, but I'm going to lean Myers. Thank you, Stu Money, for the super chat. Blair, need one more Dubes, Alec Pierce, and then need two Brees, Leonard, JT. Okay, so the first part of the question, I'm going to go with Rondale Moore. Again, I think Rondale Moore is going to see a decent amount of targets tonight. I don't think he has a weak breaking game where he scores like 30 points, but I also don't think he's going to score like 8 points. He's probably going to get 12 to 15 points, so I like him. Technically, if you want a boomer bust guy, you can go with Dobbs because the matchup against the Commanders defense is hot dog shit. But I'm going to go more. And then you need two. I'm going to just take JT out. I know it's hard to say Jonathan Taylor. He might go bananas. But at the end of the day, Brees Hall has proven that he needs to start. And Leonard Fournette has also proven that he needs to start. So sadly, you're going to have to sit down Jonathan Taylor. So you're going to go Rondell Moore, Brees Hall, and Uncle Lenny Fournette. That's how I would go about doing things this week. So how many guys do I have playing tonight on this team? I fucking so many of my teams have been slapped up aggressively by the bye weeks. Let me know in chat, how are your guys' teams down astronomical from the bye weeks? Like, did I just draft too many players on like the Bills, the Rams, and whoever the fuck, and the Eagles are on bye? Because my teams are taking hefty a hefty shit this week, it would appear. All right, I paid up for Rondell Moore, so I kind of have to start him this week in one of my leagues. Paid an expensive fab price for the boy, so I got to play him. Cool, thanks, no problem, Blair. Thank you for the super chat. Any thoughts on Tyquan Thornton? The guy's incredibly skinny. He looks incredibly talented. With Bailey Zappi under center, I trust him. If Mac Jones plays, I don't trust him one bit. My buy Mageddon was last week. That's funny. Every team I have, there's roughly 7,000 people on buy. It is a mega tough scene. Mega tough scene for my bye weeks. I'm playing against my dad in one of our leagues. Hopefully I beat him. He stinks at fantasy, so it should be easy. Just fucking with him, obviously, because he's watching the stream. Trolling him a little bit. Normally he beats me. The only time I think I've beaten my dad a couple of times in fantasy. The biggest was when he was undefeated. We went toe to toe in the Super Bowl. He was undefeated in fantasy. This is when I was in high school. So this has to have been like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And I beat him in the championship after he went undefeated. He still talks about it to this day. You hate to see it if you're him. He got it's a tough scene for him, but I won because I'm the best, you know what I'm saying? I'm the best, man. I did that. All right. Uncle, thank you for the super chat. Start Taysom Hill or Tunyon. I'm too conflicted. I feel that. Yeah, normally my dad beats me too. Yeah, my dad normally just beats me off the screen, not in fantasy though, you know? So, dog, my fucking whole team is hurt in this league. All right, guys. I'm in this one. I'm gonna answer your question in a second. I have Gabe Davis and Cooper Cup on by. Fuck, man, this is down bad. Okay, so you're conflicted here. So I'm gonna give you basically. I'm going to answer your question, Uncle Mike. So you play Tunyon, and he's safe, right? Tunyon takes the safe. Tunyon's extremely safe. You're probably never going to lose starting Tunyon, right? Like Tunyon is just a decent start every week. But the problem with Tunyon is that he doesn't have that same upside. He doesn't have the upside to win you your week, where Taysom Hill has the upside to put the entire team, your whole fantasy football team, on his back and have a humongous performance. So the question is, are you willing to do that? Are you willing to take the shot on Taysom Hill, potentially scoring like 2 points, but also scoring like a million points? So my answer here is I am going to go ahead and play Mr. fucking Taysom Hill here. I'm not afraid of playing Taysom Hill. Some people will be. Tunyon's definitely safer, Uncle Mike. If you want to be safe, play Tunyon, but I'm going Taysom Hill, baby. We're riding the Taysom Hill Express. Jacoby Myers or Alec Pierce. I'm going to go Jacoby Myers. Alec Pierce has been getting more targeted. I'm not going to decline that. I'm not going to argue against that narrative because he has looked good. I'm not going to argue against that, but I do think Jacoby Myers is still the better player. I think he's in a better situation because, look, while Matt Ryan has been playing better, would anyone at all be surprised if Matt Ryan shit the bed this week and played atrocious? The answer is going to be no. No one is going to be surprised one bit if that ends up happening. So I am going to go ahead and just play the guy that I feel more comfortable with, the guy that has put up solid numbers for me, and we are going to go with Mr. Jacoby Myers over Alec Pierce. I have Alec Pierce ranked a little bit lower than, and not by a little bit, a decent amount lower than Jacoby Myers. So I definitely like Jacoby Myers more. All right, next question. London or Olave? I'm going Olave. I need a wide receiver: Deontay, Brandon Cooks, Juju, or Rondell Moore. I would go with Rondell Moore and Deontay Johnson. Um, Zeke or Montgomery. Montgomery. Taysom, a huge gamble, especially on a short week. Taysom's always a gamble. Look, I'm someone who's willing to take that gamble. If you're scared to do it, go ahead and don't play him. Right? I'm not gonna fucking sit here and be like, oh, you're an idiot, because you're not an idiot if you're scared of playing a guy that's immensely risky. Now, in 3 of my leagues, I have Taysom Hill. And guess what? I'm playing him because again, I'm not afraid to get fucking slapped in the face directly by Taysom Hill. I think Taysom Hill could go bananas, so I'm going to play Taysom Hill. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. That's how I do it. So I'm playing him. My one team though. Jeez, man, the whole squad is hurt. Whole squad. I'm gambling with Taysom. Let's do it, baby. Hill or Pitts? I'm going Pitts. Nick, can you hit the Gasicki skedaddle for us? Oh, my fucking bet is not made. It looks bad, but I will try to hit the Gasicki skedaddle at the end. At the end of the stream, I'll get up and do it. The Gasicki skedaddle is an all-time dance. Sadly, I think he's getting traded from the Fins. You hate to see it. You hate to see it, man. Anybody starting Eno in the flex? Eno's decent. Don't start him in the flex though. Just put him as your RB2. I got Hill at tight end and Eno's the flex. How should I feel? I'd feel okay about it. Who should I start? Taysom Hill or Mostert? I play Mostert. I would play McLaurin over Mostert and Taysom Hill BP. How many of you all have gone out and grabbed Odell? I have not grabbed Odell yet, but I do think it's a smart move, especially if you're on a team that is winning right now. You can go ahead and grab him. If you're someone who needs roster spots, like you need someone to play this week, then obviously you can't hold Odell because he's just not in that situation because Odell probably won't be back for a couple of weeks at least. I just went out of focus, I think. Did I? Or am I still in focus? I can't fucking tell. I think I'm out of focus. So let me just fix this really quick. And then we're going to go back to answering questions. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, child, because heaven's got a plan for you. All right. Things are fixed. All right. So yeah, I think Odell's a fine stash. Should I be worried about Mark Andrews Knicks? He hasn't practiced. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried, but I'm not in full panic mode yet. No need to panic yet. How do you feel about more wide receiver for the Cardinals? I think he has a good game. I don't think he necessarily smashes this week, but I think he has a good enough performance to where he was start worthy, but nothing out of the ordinary, right? Like he's not gonna carry your team on his back. That's just how I look at things. Um, let's see here. Start two, Rondell Moore, Dobbs, Cooks, Moore, Jacoby. I'm going Jacoby and then Moore. Is Dak playable this week, or are there concerns with his hands? I'm playing him, but I don't have him ranked as high as most people do because I am slightly concerned that his first game back, he might underwhelm. Would you trade Geno Smith for Walker from Seattle? Yes. Kenyon Drake or George Kittle in my flex spot? I would go with Kenyon Drake. Hopkins or Walker? I would have rather have Walker. Ah, yeah, I think I'd go Hopkins actually, but that is close. All right. Pick three to start JT, Kamara, Eckler, Brees Hall. I'm going with the everyone but Jonathan Taylor. What's your record? Well, it depends in what league we're talking about. In one of my leagues, two of my leagues, my teams are 2-4. And one of my teams that's 2-4 in our super flex league, I have the third most points. So just getting incredibly unlucky. And then the other one, I've had a decent amount of injuries that have kind of fucked me over. I'm 5-1 in one league. I am 3-3 in another one. And in my dynasty league, my team is I don't even know how to check. Am I just dumb? I don't know. I don't use Sleeper a bunch. I am 4-2. So I have a bunch of decent records, some not so good records. Um, it is what it is. So that's just kind of how I feel. My teams are just doing okay. I'm not super ecstatic about how my fantasy teams were doing, but I also don't think that I drafted bad or anything. I think just getting a little unlucky here with injuries. Like DeAndre Swift missing all these games has put my team behind the 8 ball in a couple leagues, which sucks. All right, Nikki, I got to leave for work in a few minutes. I'm going to leave my questions in the comments tonight. Good luck, everyone. Thank you, Tyron. Have a great rest of your night, man. Good luck at work, man. Should I start Gallup or Curtis Samuel? Thank you in advance. No problem. I'd go Curtis. I got Josh Allen on bye. That's tough. 3-3 gang with the most points for and the most points against. You love to see it. That's how it always goes. I play in so many leagues that look, if my team just shits the bed and like sucks ass in one league, like it is what it is, right? It doesn't hamper me. Like the only league where I'm worried that my team is not doing the best is in our league with a punishment because if I lose, I have to run a mile, and every 1/4 mile you have to eat a Big Mac, and that just sounds like I would puke like 50 different times, and I don't want to do that. I do have the third highest amount of points, so I'm not really worried. But my team just keeps losing, and that's also one of those teams where my whole fucking team is on bye. It's brutal. It's brutal. And the OJ, that's actually a good suggestion. Let me run that through someone. I could actually just technically have you guys come in to this, like without a phone line. Like you would just join and you would just show your face or not and ask me a question. But the problem with that is that you never know what people are going to say. Now, again, I don't think you guys are crazy, but you never know. There might be someone that fucking hates me. They come in, they say something fucking absurd, and it gets everything taken down. That's really my only worry about it. I can ask at work. I'm sure it's not going to be an issue. And that could be something like later on in the season we introduce or next season. But I think that's a good suggestion. I've thought about this too. Yeah. Wow, Nick, you're gonna go in and be like that dude on Twitter who was driving fast because he ate $27 worth of Taco Bell. Well, that's a fact. I am gonna be like that guy if I fucking come in last. That's gonna be brutal. Let's hope I don't come in last. If I do come in last, though, there will be a video on my channel of me doing that, running around it. As long I'm sure I can upload, or I'll just upload it on Twitter. It doesn't matter. But it would be pretty funny if I did come in last. But let's be honest, I'm not that bad at fantasy to where I'd come in last. The problem is Justin Jefferson and AJ Brown are on bye this week, so like any chance I had at a huge game has been pretty much deflated. Start Marcus Mariota or Jones, Brissett, Heineke, Wilson. I would start Marcus Mariota. How many leagues are you in? I am in one, two, three, four redraft leagues, two dynasty leagues, and a bunch of underdog and DraftKings best ball drafts and drafters. But you obviously don't have to edit those, so I don't really count those. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh man. I'm just hoping for a healthy week this week. A nice healthy game out of my team to perform. You would be like Harry in the scene from Dumb and Dumber after that much Taco Bell, yeah. Dobbins or AJ Dillon? I would go with AJ Dillon. Am I starting the 49ers defense? I'm playing them in one league, but that's just because there's no one else available. I would suggest not starting them. You like Rhino more over Juju? Yes, I do. I do. And now again, it's because it's based upon when I do those rankings, it's based upon feel, and so are the questions. Like things change. Like I recorded that video last night. Look, you can play Juju. Juju is much safer than Rondell Moore, but I see Rondell Moore potentially having a bigger game than Juju. Juju has not been good outside of that one game, so I'm a little bit worried about Juju. You can play Juju. I'm not judging you, but I'm a little bit worried about him. Full PPR, Lockett, Sutton, CH, Pitts, Robinson, Gallup. I would go with Pitts and Lockett. Lockett in my pocket. Skirt. What's up, boss man? How you doing? Hey, Nick. What two to start? Pittman, Allen, Godwin. I would start Pittman and Godwin. DeAndre Swift or Chris Olave? Swift. Should I go with Taysom Hill or start Frymouth? I'd play Taysom Hill, but Frymouth's probably safer. DeAndre Swift or Chris Olave? DeAndre Swift. Is JT a trade target? Yes. I'm starting them, Kyle, because I don't want to give up a roster spot to get another defense. They're just so damn good. The problem with the Niners is they are banged up defensively. I picked up two of my other league. He was dropped. That makes sense. Um, Later, everyone, and good luck. Let's go Taysom Hill and D Hop. See you, Brian. Hope you have a good rest of your night. What time does the game start tonight? 8:15. 8:15. Looking forward to it. All right. Should I trade Dobbins for London and PPR? I'm stacked at running back with Barkley, Henry, and J. Rob. Yeah, I would do that. I would do that. John, thank you for the super chat. Would you trade Najee for Alan Lazard, Devontae Smith, or Cortland Sutton? Which do you like rest of season? At this point, this might sound crazy. I think I like Lazard the most out of that group. Seems like Lazard continues to get force fed the ball by the quarterback. So I'm going to keep leaning with Alan Lazard. So I would trade Najee for Lazard. I like Sutton better, but I just don't trust him. I think I can trust Lazard more. So I would say Lazard. I can rank them for you though. Lazard, Sutton, then Smith. Sean, thank you for the super chat. Trade Pittman for Metcalf. That's a great question. Look, Pittman's been pretty inconsistent this year. DK Metcalf has been as well. Pittman continues to get fed the ball though in these big games. Like I'd be hard pressed to trade Pittman for Metcalf because at best it's a slight move up. At worst, like it could be really bad. Like Metcalf has a lot of competition with Lockett. I just think I'd rather have Pittman, to be honest with you. I just see Pittman as a more reliable player. Sean says start two Olave, Wilson Jr., Pollard, ETN. I'd go with Olave and Wilson Jr., but I think Wilson Jr. and ETN are going to be close to my rankings I drop tomorrow. Drop A Rob and Darrell Henderson. I'm holding Darrell Henderson because Cam Akers wants out. Would you drop from Deion Jackson or Latavius Murray for Alec Pierce? I would drop Deion Jackson for Alec Pierce. Angel, thank you for the super chat. Rondell Moore, ETN, or Mostert at flex, full PPR. I would go ahead and do Rondell Moore. I think that Mostert and ETN could have decent games. The Dolphins really do want to just give the rock full force to Mostert. Edmonds has dropped so many passes. They're just sick of his bullshit. So I think all three of those guys are a good start. I think I'm just going to go with the receiver, Rondell Moore, who I just feel like is in a really good position to succeed tonight. I think he's going to see a lot of targets. I think the Cardinals are going to win this game. I mean, the Saints are just so banged up. I'm going to go Rondale Moore. Also, the Saints defense is hurt. I got to go Rondale Moore. Should I trade Lazard for Mostert? No, I'd rather have Lazard, and I think I'd want someone better than Mostert if I trade Lazard. Cut one, Hawkinson, Fryermuth, Schultz. I don't think you can cut Schultz at this point, so you're just going to have to cut Fryermuth. Did you guys see that Deshaun Watson got caught fucking speeding 97 miles an hour? Why are you speeding if everyone's already on your ass for getting so many tugs at the goddamn massage parlor? What are you doing, pal? Think a little. Think a little. Rondell Moore or Chris Olave tonight? I would rather play Olave. Jimmy G and OK start this week? Yes. Kenyon Drake or Curtis Samuel on the flex? Kenyon Drake. Metcalf, D Hop, St. Brown, Godwin. I would go D Hop and St. Brown. Ryan, Daniel Jones, Mariota, or Jimmy G, Jimmy G. I traded Aaron Jones for Najee, but still have Jacobs and CMC. That's a good trade. Start Aaron Jones or Keenan Allen this week. I would rather start Aaron Jones because I don't think Allen's going to play. Hey, Nick, Kyler Murray, TB12, Kyler Murray. Walker or Hopkins. I would rather play Hopkins. I also picked up Dalton Schultz. Very nice. Dalton Schultz is going to be available in some leagues. Make sure you guys check that. And Dak Prescott as well. Most leagues, they're owned, but there are going to be leagues where they are available. Um, I like Walker too, Spock, but I think I have Hopkins ahead of Walker. Should I drop Dobbins for AJ Dillon? Yes. Gallup or McLaurin? McLaurin. Swift, Metcalf, or Godwin? I would rather play Swift. Just want to say I truly appreciate you, dude. Thank you very much, Daniel. I appreciate that. I appreciate all you guys. Make sure you guys hit the like button on the stream. Please, it really helps me out a ton. I just got a haircut today, guys. You digging the new haircut? You digging it? I like it. I think it looks pretty decent. Alrighty. D Hop or Johnson? D Hop. I picked up D Hop. Yeah, traded Sutton and ETN for Higgins. That a W. I think that's a pretty solid trade. Kenneth Walker was RB7 last week with 10% target share and 24 of 26 running back opportunities. Yeah, no, look, I'm not arguing with you. I don't want to argue with you. I do think Walker's a good player. So appreciate all the support and consistency. Look forward every week to this Q&A. Keep grinding on my man. Stay awesome. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're live every Thursday and every Sunday prior to the games, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Sunday. Now, I've been thinking about this, potentially going live at 12 instead of 11:30 because going for an hour and a half in the morning, not that it's difficult, right? Like talking to you guys, none of this is not hard. I'm telling you, this is the live streams are easy, but it's just at the end of the stream, like I don't know if you guys can tell, but my brain goes full mush after about an hour and a half. But I don't know. I think this week we're gonna stick with an hour and a half and maybe pivot later. I know next week we have another London game. Russell Wilson, baby, let's ride. Walker is a monster. He is a monster. He's good. I agree with you. I'm not arguing with you. I think he's good. Need help last minute, Sutton or Olave? I would go with Olave. Swift a good play, or is he bend me over again and let Jamal Williams finish me off? Jamal Williams probably will vulture a touchdown, but I'm still playing Swift. Hold on to Akers or just drop him for someone like Hurst or Mooney. I'm not dropping him. I'm holding him because I think he could get traded to a good opportunity, and then you trade him. Schultz or Everett rest of season. Everett. Looking fly as always. Thank you, sir. Hit that like button for the fresh cut. That's a fact. That is a fact. Dude, D Hop is on the waiver wire in some leagues because a lot of people just don't have the patience to hold people. That's why. Penis, Ryan or Jimmy G? I think this week I'd play Jimmy G. Matt Ryan did look good last week. Matt Ryan was incredible. I bet you most people didn't realize how good Matt Ryan played last week. I didn't until I checked the stats. Um, but yeah. Oh, it's a German game. My bad, Dominic. It is a German game. I thought it was London, but yeah, same thing basically. In terms of same thing because the same time. Jimmy G would be my answer there. Jimmy G's pretty safe. Even though last week the 49ers shit the bed against the Falcons, Jimmy G still had a good game. Jimmy G's never really going to win you your week. That's just the thing about him. He's probably going to score you like probably top 14 quarterback. He's never really going to be the top 5 guy, but could he be a top 8 quarterback? Yeah. So I'm going to go with Jimmy G over Matty Ice Ice baby. Dun 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 dun. So yeah, that's my pick there. I need help ASAP. Rondell Moore, Benjamin or Dubes or Duvernay. I'm going Rondell Moore. Tua or Brady this week in long term. I think Brady bounces back, so I'd say Brady. How are you doing in your redraft league? So right now, I'll literally, and then I'm gonna answer the super chat. I'll read you my record in every single redraft league. In my one league, Superflex League, where I'm third in points for, I am 2-4. You hate to fucking see that. Being 2-4 is a tough scene. After that, my other team is 2-4. The team where I have McCaffrey and Barkley. I lost Dak, and I was suffering through the pain of the quarterback waiver wire, and it was not working very well at all. But I got Dak back this week. I'm hoping to bounce back here and start looking better. And then 3-3 in my 14 team league. I lost last week to my girlfriend's dad. My team has been pretty bad. I was 3-0 to start things off, then 0-3 after DeAndre Swift got hurt. But this week we're looking to get back on the saddle in our stochastic work league. I am 5-1, finally losing last week. I have my whole team is basically a Denver stack. The Denver team sucked ass last week. My team fell. My team's really bad this week because I'm missing Cooper Cup and Gabe Davis, so I'm probably gonna lose again. But hey, 5-2 ain't so bad after all. Last minute, should I trade Jay Jettis for D Hop and Kenneth? My current RB2 is Stevenson. Yes, I am doing that because you have a lot of other wide receivers. You have Deontay and Amon Ra. D Hop is pretty good. Now, he's not going to finish as high as Justin Jefferson, but he's a pretty decent, reliable starter every single week. So, my answer is going to be yes to do that trade because Stevenson, his hype might not last for very long because Damian Harris is practicing. I think ultimately Ramondre Stevenson will still be startable with Damian Harris back, but look, let's be honest, like Walker is just that next step up. Just that next step up. So I would go ahead and do that trade. I'm not thinking twice about it. I am doing it easy. Oh, London is 1 hour ahead of Germany. So the London game is at 8 a.m. Oh, it better not be. It better not be. Thank you, Gustavo, for the super chat as well. So, Josh, I'm definitely doing that trade again. Don't even think twice about it. Get D Hop and Kenneth Walker right now. I swear, man. If that game starts, the game starts. It better not be. Oh, it's still 9:30 a.m. Oh no, London is 1 hour behind. Okay, gotcha. It's still 9:30 a.m. though, guys. Everyone, October 30th, the night before Halloween. Everyone get pumped for the morning before Halloween for the Jaguars Broncos, baby. Let's ride. Let's ride. So yeah, I'm doing that trade, Josh. Gustavo, thank you for the super chat, my man. I don't understand time zones, Dominic. I'm a fucking idiot. Just so you're aware. I live in the United States. Okay. I'm not a time zone guy. Hope everything is going well. Everything's going well for me, Gustavo. Hope everything's going well for you as well. Who should I start? Pitts or Hurst? Running back two, Mostert or Robinson, Flex, Myers or Dubes, and quarterback Ryan or Carr. Sorry for the multiple questions. It's okay. Don't worry about it. You sent a super chat. I'm going to answer it. So, for starters, we're going to go with the quarterback question. Is Derek Carr? I do like Matt Ryan a decent amount this week, but I think Carr is just the next level. Carr has looked a lot better recently. Devontae Adams is going to be playing. I like Derek Carr. So Carr for me. Then your receiver question, or your flex question, I would go with Jacoby Myers over Dubes. So we're going to go Carr, Jacoby Myers. I like Dubes a decent amount. He has a great matchup, but Myers has just been more reliable. And he also has a lot of upside, so I go with him. So I'm going to go Carr, Myers, and then we're going to go with Mostert over Robinson. Robinson's kind of going to be touchdown dependent. Mostert has that 100-yard upside. We saw it 2 weeks ago with Tua Tagovailoa back. I think the team looks a lot better. So Mostert, and then Pitts or Hurst. I don't think you're sitting Pitts. I know Pitts has fucked around all season, played not the best, but I think you're going to have to continue to roll out Kyle Pitts. So we're going to go with Pitts, Mostert, Myers, and Derek Carr. Thank you for the super chat. I do like Brian Robinson rest of season. Don't doubt that. But I do think Brian Robinson is going to be touchdown dependent. And I don't love this matchup against the Packers for him. Now, he's still start worthy because the running back landscape this year sucks ass, but Mostert is clearly a better start than Robinson. So, again, Pitts, Mostert, Myers, and Carr. The closest debate here would be between Myers and Dobbs. It could be a little bit more risky and play Dobbs, but I think I'm leaning with Myers. Olave or Mike Williams this week? I'm playing Mike Williams. St. Brown and Lamb. Damn, you have a lot of receivers. Should I trade Bateman and ETN for CD? I would do that. Should I pick up Gus Edwards for the Ravens? I would pick up Gus Edwards. I think he's a Good hold. Has the Drizzy Drake London hype train been derailed? He's fucked me the last 3 weeks. I don't think it's been derailed. I don't think it's been derailed. I think the hype train is still there. I just think my expectations right now are not as high as they were for the first couple of weeks, right? Like I'm not expecting him to smash. But like next week he gets the Panthers, like and the Panthers are looking to fucking trade everyone away. So I think we could be in a situation where Drizzy Drake London bounces back next week. I think he just has a decent game this week. St. Brown and Lamb over Hop. I would have St. Brown and Lamb over Hop. Yes. Bet. A lot of questions tonight. After last week, he is a super hard call. I agree with you. I agree with you. He's a super hard call. I think he's a guy you play in your league. He's going to get a couple of points. He's not going to screw you over again. This is just kind of my breakdown of him. I think he's just a decent start. He's not going to really win you your week. He's not going to lose you your week. He's just going to be okay. And let's hope that this Sunday night football, this Thursday night football game doesn't suck ass. Doesn't suck ass. I accidentally twisted up my fucking necklace. I like playing with it while I'm streaming, like a fucking sicko, like a child. Need to have something in my hands. Pause. So I just keep twisting around my necklace. I was about to buy this fucking diamond Dolphins necklace, but the Dolphins keep fucking me over, so I didn't buy it. Couldn't buy it knowing the Dolphins have been so bad. Tough scene. Don't forget to do the skadoodle. I will. Right as we exit stream, I'm going to hit the skadoodle. Waddle or Mike Williams? I can't do it as good as him, though. He actually did. You guys see? Look up on if you guys know Chuck Pagano. He used to be the coach of the Colts. The Chuck Pagano gritty that he hit was legitimately impressive. It's better than anything's gritty's um better than anything. I can't snap either. It's embarrassing. Better than fuck. What's his name? Then Gasicki. Waddle or Mike Will? Waddle is safer. I'm going Waddle. Hey, do I trade Waddle, Jamal, and Kenyon Drake for Amon Ra? Fuck no, baby. Olave or Lockett? Lockett. Who do I start? I have T. Higgins, D Hop, Olave, and Smith. I'll rank them for you. D Hop, Higgins, Olave, Smith. Should I trade Aaron Jones for Olave? I think I will. I think I would. Should I start Kenyon Drake or Benjamin tonight? I would start Kenyon Drake. Actually, I'm just going to play because Kenyon Drake might not be the starter on Sunday. Pick two, Jeff Wilson, Mostert. I'm going to go and Jeff Wilson. Olave or Lockett. I'm going to go with Lockett. Thoughts on the Denver backfield? It's going to be a disaster. Lockett or Olave? Lockett. James Robinson, Antonio Gibson, or Algier. Got injured Patterson. I'm going to play Robinson. Pick one to flex. Dubes, B-Rob, Kenyon Drake, or Jamal Williams. I'm going with Kenyon Drake. Nick, who should I play this week? Everett or Waller? Waller's out. Everett. The coach says Melvin Gordon is still the starter, but yeah, it's a huge question mark. I agree with you. Ertz or Kittle? You like Kittle, Captain Spock? I know he had a good game last week. I'm still rolling with Ertz. I have T. Higgins and Amon Ra, Devontae, D Hop, Chris Olave. Who do I start? I'm going to play. I'm going to rank them for you. Amon Ra, D Hop, Higgins, Olave, Devontae. Thoughts on tough one, Noah. Super tough one. Do I play tonight or risk Swift? I think Swift's gonna play, so I'm risking Swift. You picking up Djax? He's gonna have one big game. You're never gonna know when it's gonna be. No, I'm not picking him up. So does this mean it wouldn't be worth it to hold out on Drake? Got it. No, it's not that it's not worth it to hold out on Drake. It's just not worth risking it. Like, for instance, if you only have Benjamin and Drake, just play Benjamin because Benjamin's the starter tonight. Like, whereas Drake might not be the starter on Sunday. You never know. These guys try to push themselves to play all the time. I have Pittman, Olave, Sutton, Metcalf, Stevenson, Brandon Cooks. Who do I start and flex? I would start Pittman and Stevenson. Do I trade Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones for CMC and Cortland Sutton? No. Hunt or Eno? Who should I play this week? James Robinson or Brian Robinson? Brian Robinson would be my answer. Taysom Hill or TJ Hawkinson? Hill. Who would you drop Jerry Jeudy? And if you're in a smaller league, yeah. Benjamin or Raheem? Raheem. Zay or Renfro? Alec Pierce or Bateman? I would go with Alec Pierce. Get the fuck out of here, you stupid bot. Get out of my lobby. Have you guys ever seen that? Fucking meme. Body yada yada. You're the GOAT. Thank you. Would you trade Dalvin Cook, Brandon Cooks, and Hawkinson for Keenan Allen and Mark Andrews? No. Everett or Freiermuth. I would go with Everett. You're the GOAT. Thank you very much. Cardinals defense, a good play. I think they're okay tonight. Fair trade Felipe. It's basically CMC for Jefferson. I would not do that personally, but I think it's okay. Mike Will has either 110 yards less than 20. Yeah, he he is risky as fuck. He's a good start. He's a good play every week, but he is risky. Thoughts on Schultz on Dak's return? I think the connection will be here. I'm not trusting it this week, but I do think going forward you can. ETN or Eno. Picking up Drake London for Pollard, Melvin Gordon or Freiermuth. I would drop him for Pollard. I would drop Pollard for him. Pick 2 PPR. ETN, or Pollard. I have Zeke in my starting lineup ready. I'm going ETN and Eno. I need a wide receiver 1 and 2. Pittman, Sutton, Metcalf, Olave, Brennan Cook, Stevenson. Also need a flex. Sorry for the question again. I need 2 receivers. Okay. So Stevenson, Pittman, and then you are going to go with Olave. Benjamin, Raheem, Mostert. I would rather play Benjamin. Thursday Night Football, play defense, not players. That's very true. Schultz or Jawan tonight? Schultz. Alrighty. We just double check, do a double checkaroo on all my lineups, make sure everything's good. Eduardo, thank you for the super chat. Drop Woods for Garrett Wilson. Moore wants a trade. I would do that if Elijah Moore does get traded. I think that does increase the value mightily of Garrett Wilson. That offense is kind of disaster right now. Now they're not a disaster team, like they're still playing good, but they're a disaster in the sense that they just don't throw the ball. They just run, 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 which is great if you have Breece Hall, right? You're just fucking elated if you have Breece Hall. But in reality, not everyone has Breece Hall. So if you don't have Breece Hall, then the offense stinks for you. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of the point I'm getting to here. Body yada yada. All right. So I would drop Woods for Garrett Wilson pretty easily. They're both guys I don't love, but again, if Moore does get traded, Garrett Wilson would be an incredibly good spot. Apparently, Richard Sherman keeps making Call of Duty references on the pregame show. I bet he knows when a new map drops. That is corny as fuck. That's hilarious. That's hilarious, bro. Body. Get out of here, you sex bot bastards. Just because this guy's picture is Theodore, I'm answering his question. Burrow and Sutton for Lamar and Henderson. I'd rather have Burrow and Sutton. Jason Hill or Gerald Everett. I would go with Taysom Hill. But again, Taysom Hill's more risky if you want to be safe. Play Gerald Everett. Eduardo says, start 4. CH, Monty, Jamal Williams, Brian Robinson, Garrett Wilson. Great question. Apparently, you know what I'm talking about? CH, Monty, Jamal Williams, Brian Robinson, Garrett Wilson. So I'm playing CH. I am definitely worried about his decline in work recently, but I still think he's a must-start player. I then am going to go with Monty. I hate him against the Patriots, but he's really your second best option. We're gonna go all running backs, to be honest with you. We're going with every single running back. I don't trust Garrett Wilson right now until Elijah Moore gets traded. Once Elijah Moore gets traded, then bam, you're starting him. But right now, you have to stay away. So I'm starting all 4 of the running backs. I feel pretty comfortable that Jamal Williams ends up vulturing a touchdown or just does decent enough in that game. Monty could score. Brian Robinson kind of touchdown dependent. CH, I think, bounces back. So all 4 running backs is my answer. We're going to go ahead and hit the skadoodle and then get out of here. So I'm going to move my chair real quick. Try to move like fucking Mike Licky on Michael Sick. Hopefully nothing falls here. You guys ready for this shit? He goes like this too. Ooh, that's how he does it. I can't get low enough though. I'm a little too tall for this, but he gets real low with it. So thank you guys all. I would go Walker over Olave, but they're incredibly close. So thank you guys for watching today's stream. I love you guys all. Good luck, everyone. Have a great rest of your guys' day. And as always, goodbye.